Alright, so I'm just going to quickly recap what happened yesterday. We had Jaren Jackson Jr. over 28.5 points and rebounds. Unfortunately, I believe he only ended off with 23. He ended up shooting, I think, like 6 for 17 from the field. So ultimately, that was a rough look with that. I mean, even though the game was competitive through and through up until the end, he just didn't get enough bad balls to go in the net realistically. His rebounds kind of did get chewed into by Edey. I mean, I did have that play from Edey as well. Unfortunately, he does end up going 4 points, 9 rebounds, 2 for 6 shooting. Those were some like post hooks that he should have had. And yeah, that 1 rebound as well. So, I mean, that was just a little miscellaneous play, so I don't really track that with the straights. But we had KD over 27.5 points and rebounds, which was a great look. He ends up with, I think, 34 points and 3 rebounds, so he crushed this line by 10. Moving into Embiid, this was what crushed us. What crushed, the potential profit here was we take over 27.5 points on Embiid, and of course, not only does he only score 27 points, but the Sixers end up actually losing that game, which is hilarious because I was thinking about, the Raptors' probability of going in there and winning against the Sixers. Regardless of that, luckily the Knicks do get it done for us with a win there, so that's good. We end up 2-2 on the day, not including that little Edey miscellaneous play, which would have been just a sprinkle. Then now we get into like the actual plays here. So the first one that I have pulled up here is Tyrese Maxey over 35.5 points and assists. So I'm just gonna jack that up one more. Yeah, when we look at his performance in the last 20 games, we see that he has crushed this line in about looks like 13 of his last 16 there, which is a great hit rate for that. And yeah, whenever you put the last 10, it looks even better. This is in games without Embiid. The Sixers heavily lean on Maxey, and I think against a Nets defense, he'll really have an opportunity to flourish. He's also coming off this game where he just dropped, like 2 points. I think it was catching a lot of heat online. I think something like that only motivates Maxey ultimately. So I think this will be a good spot for him to get this done. And it looks like here we even have 35, so it's just even more sauce plus money. I think this is an ideal look. This is a great bet, and yeah, I hope it ends up coming through. And then next play here we have Trey Murphy. I'm gonna quickly pull him up. And yeah, Trey Murphy has been lights out recently. He's been scoring the ball effectively, and we have him for over 29.5 points and rebounds with 30 plus. He's been crushing this line as of late. When we look here, he is pretty consistent as far as this goes, with the only outlier being against the Kings. And I mean, we're going back at it again. That's a familiar team for him now. He literally just faced them the other night. I think that he'll be able to, make some tweaks in his matchup and be able to get to that 30 points or 25 points we're used to seeing out of him. I can't see them limiting him twice. He shot 7 for 18 on that, so he did still shoot well against him. I think, he'll just get that many more looks. I think, Zion struggles against Sabonis and everything, so I do think this is a good matchup for him. This is a player that, also can grab us 10 rebounds and then make this a lot easier. Only need 20 points on a Murphy. At the same time, he can score 30 points and just cash it that way. So regardless, I do think this is a great look for them. Head-to-head, it has been rough for him against the Kings as far as his line, but you gotta take all these other ones with a grain of salt because it could have been different matchups, different players. Who knows what was going on in those scenarios, so I can't really read too much into that. But yeah, when we look at the hit rate recently, it has been great. And yeah, the Sacramento defense, 29th in points to opposing small forwards and 22nd rebounds to opposing small forwards. So I think, if Murphy was to have a big pop-off game against the Kings, would be a great way to do it. Next, we have DeMar DeRozan over 7.5 rebounds and assists. I'm just going to pull up DeRozan really quick. And yeah, I think, there is a world where you take, his points, rebounds, and assists, but it's just, it's iffy with, him and Levine, like, who's going to end up, like, sharing that scoring role ultimately. So I do think, the rebounds and assists is a pretty big effort stat, and, DeRozan does not lack the effort, especially as of late, crushing this in 4 of his last 5. Coming off of a 42.7 rebound, 3 assist game. I think that, there'll be a lot of attention from the Pelicans as far as stopping DeRozan. And, once they start stopping DeRozan, he'll be able to look in the post and be able to swing those passes out. So I think it is a good opportunity for assists. And as well, they are 28th in rebounds to opposing players in general. I mean, They have DeRozan listed as a small forward, but we know he kind of moves around that Kings offense realistically. So I do think this is a good spot for DeRozan to get this done. And yeah, on to the next one here. So we'll be looking at Michael Porter Jr. over 24.5 points and rebounds. I think this is a great number. He's coming off of a lot of rest, so he's going to be fresh going into this game. And he has the best playmaker in the league probably making this happen for him. I've seen that Jokic gets 23% of his assists off Michael Porter Jr. And Jokic is expected to have a high assist night this evening. So when we look at his points and rebounds, we see that he's crushed this in 6 of his last 8. And yeah, his usage rate has been going up severely in his last 10 games. He's been looking like 30, 37, 40 minutes, 41 minutes. If Portland can, somehow keep this close, which I feel like they haven't played hard as of late, that this could be an interesting spot for Michael Porter Jr. to soar over this line. He has given you 30, 39, 36 points in those times before he's coming back now, and I think he's going to see his shots. He's getting 16, 23, 22 shots a game. Really all we need is for him to score 18 to 20 points, and he's really consistent with these rebounds ultimately. I do think this is a great look for him. Portland defense is 23rd in points allowed to opposing small forwards and 28th respectively in rebounds and assists. And I think, Michael Porter Jr. is already a great rebounder, and putting up against a weak rebounding team will only excel that. So I think this is a great spot for his points and rebounds. And now we'll be looking at one of my probably favorite plays of the day, like this in the maxi play. Austin Reeves over 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So I'm just going to quickly pull Reeves up here. Yeah, there's also, potential for a lot of injuries. I've been checking it, and I can, quickly check it again. But I think a lot of people are just day-to-day. I feel like, why should LeBron play realistically after how they just dealt with the Jazz? But, LeBron's day-to-day, Luka's day-to-day. So we're going to see, exactly what happens here. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if either Luka or LeBron don't play. And this just makes the play just that much better as far as, the probability of Reeves hitting that. If you look at this hit rate, it's absolutely unreal how consistent he's been over the last 10 and as well over the last 20. Reeves is just such a contributing member to this team that he's going to get his minutes. And, who knows after the Jazz, just losing by 20. These are NBA players after all. They don't want to just roll over and take the punishment. So I think that they're going to come out trying to compete as hard as possible against the Lakers just to not, completely embarrass themselves in front of the home crowd. So I think that this game will be closer than expected. And I think Reeves will get a lot of looks as far as being able to, just boost his stats ultimately. We're only looking for roughly 21 points out of him. I think he could easily get 30 plus if LeBron or Luka are gone and they lean on him more. Because as well, Luka and LeBron are still really looking to play make at the same time, and Reeves is more of a scorer, although he can still dish the rock and give us 10 assists tonight as well. So I do think this is a great opportunity to take Reeves here, someone who's been hot as of late and cleared this in 5 of his last 5. I think this will just be another night of production for Reeves here. And finally, I am just going to kind of quickly take a look at the NBA slate here and just kind of show you guys any games that I was kind of thinking there might be a little bit of a lean as far as being able to find a money line play or something like that. I was quickly taking a look at the Warriors. I just don't really think the Mavs have the firepower. I think right now they're without PJ Washington and everyone else. As far as Derek Lively, there's obviously going to be no AD. And although they're in Dallas, I don't really think this impacts the Warriors all too much. With this new addition of Jimmy Butler, they have been playing lights out. And Curry has also been performing so much better because, that attention is kind of taken off him just a little bit here. So this could be an opportunity. I think that, I'll have to clarify here, but I think the spread was at -6.5. And just, I could see the Warriors kind of pulling away with this here with their newfound energy from this new trade. And they really do need to kind of make sure that this is a good look as far as working out with Jimmy Butler. But the spread is at -6.5, so that's 7 points here. Of course, Kyrie can go off, but I do think that this could be a look here to see the Warriors spread. The other thing as well, like the Suns at the Rockets. The Rockets have been coming off of a brutal losing streak, and I think no way to take your anger out other than against the Suns coming off a back-to-back. No Devin Booker. KD, I mean, how much is he really feel inclined to try to carry this team to a win ultimately? But yeah, I think the Rockets need this, and I think that they could end up winning this by 9 for sure or more. And yeah, a lot of these are, it's funny, even though every team is playing today, a lot of these spreads are like in the double digits or close to. So, I mean, the National Blowout Association thing is ringing true. And yeah, an interesting match I didn't really explore too much is that Grizzlies and Clippers game. I certainly see a lot of value in that, but I don't see why the Grizzlies couldn't just show up and beat the Clippers at home. With that plus money at plus 176, there could be some good value in that, but just ultimately not really something I'm looking to touch. So as a recap, we have DeRozan over 7.5 rebounds and assists, Trey Murphy over 29.5 points and rebounds, Maxey over 35.5 points and assists, Michael Porter Jr. over 24.5 points and rebounds, and then Austin Reeves over 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And ultimately, I hope that we can, see a winning day today after what Embiid did to us yesterday. So yeah, thank you.